really excited about my topic, David.
Topic?
Yes.
How many did you? Just one?
Yeah, I just did one. Why?
I thought, oh, that's interesting. It was 3 and 3.
Is it 3 and 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude. Hello. Welcome to We Did a Podcast. I am Frank. I have here with me David.
Present.
Today we've got oh, that's interesting. If you're not familiar with that interesting, this is our current event segment. Today we're going to be giving you current events in the realms of science.
Yeah, science. We themed it this time.
And normally we do 3 topics each, so that's a total of 6 stories. This week, due to some circumstances, we have 4 total stories for you because I only prepared 1. But I swear I prepared a whole bunch.
I was going to say, enlighten us on that circumstance, but what could it be?
Circumstances, I mean, I messed up. I goofed up. For some reason, I thought it was just one topic, and I just tore into that topic, and I was like, good job, Frank. Patted myself on the back, threw the laptop in the backpack.
There you go.
Got on with the rest of my day.
If I could just interject quickly, it is exciting that the first official mishap, one of us was bound to be unprepared and for it to be caught on film. And it was total. Well, no, you know what? Technically, me messing up the satire pick was first, I think.
Yeah, at least I know what satire is. I have that going for me.
Anyways, you got a juicy topic, so I think we're gonna be in good shape.
I'm excited about my topic. At least I have that. At least I have that.
It's okay, Frank. I forgive you.
All right, David. Well, you're going first. Why don't you hit us with your first story?
Okay, cool. So, before I even dive into this first story, I just wanted to toss something at everybody. Just felt like it had to be mentioned that I think it was 2 days ago, Rick and Morty season 4 is just not looking promising, everyone.
Oh no, what happened? I haven't seen anything.
I was like, oh, this is kind of science related in a weird way. But some person on Twitter was passive aggressive, well, not passive aggressive, joking with Dan Harmon on Twitter saying hey man, you drunk slob, get on it. We're waiting for Rick and Morty over here. And this guy's like, well, I can't write a show that hasn't been ordered, guys. I'm sorry to say it, but Adult Swim has not ordered another season of Rick and Morty at this point. So we're not working on anything.
Ooh.
Isn't that the saddest thing you've ever heard?
Why?
Why, Adult Swim? Let's be honest, guys. It's the best show you've had. Original.
Yeah,
original
you know what?
Shows?
I've liked a lot of Adult Swim shows, but yeah, that's the one I've enjoyed the most so far.
For reals, it's a great show. I hope they bring it back. Anyways, enough of that little sidetrack. What I wanted to talk about first, my first story, is it was breaking news today, but apparently the EPA has announced that it is preparing to restrict the scientific studies it uses to develop and justify regulations that affect climate change or air pollution, clean water. Those are all things that could be affected by this. This is by Jennifer. I'm going to mess this name up. Dlowney, by Bloomberg. Yeah, and this was posted today, the day we're recording, March 20th. So basically, let me get into what this really means. The administrative, one of the administrators of the EPA, Scott Pruitt, is saying that we need to rely on science that is very objective, very transparent, and very open. Essentially, this is what's going on. They're using this language of saying that this science isn't transparent, and by that they mean science that they don't agree with.
Interesting.
So, and the case that they're citing a lot was in 1993 air pollution study by Harvard University. And this was a study that decided that fine particulate matter is a mortality risk. Which, let's just sink that in, everyone. This study proved that inhaling bad things could kill you.
You know, somebody had to do the work and crunch the numbers and let us know where we really stand on inhaling bad things.
I know, right? It seems like such an obvious... an obvious fact to everyone. But anyways, this study...
You can never be too safe.
It was done by Harvard in the 90s. Because of confidentiality that they promised to the people who participated in the study, they don't release the records because that's what confidentiality is. So now the FDA is saying that or the FDA, I'm sorry, the EPA, they're saying that they're going to not use evidence where they can't see who the people participating in it are, which is a little bit ridiculous because that's like how a lot of these things are conducted, with like anonymity promised to the people that are participating. Anyways, so the big issue is this has been like a big push from the conservative branch of the government, but from an environmental standpoint, man, it could seriously affect clean water, clean air for like years to come. That 1993 case that they're trying to use as the example of like, this is the science we can't trust. This is the reason why we have the EPA, is that group. This is like the reason why the air is breathable now, just throughout the 90s and 2000s. So, ugh, I don't know. It's not a good situation. And it's just, it's very underhanded. It's like the science is proven. You know what I mean? How much more trusted are we going to get than Harvard University?
I've never heard of them. Sounds sketchy.
I don't know. I just thought the story was kind of like frustrating from the aspect of the scientific method. It's like, well, you have peer-reviewed evidence that has been held up by trials, and you're just saying you're not going to take the evidence. I don't know. You have any thoughts on this, Frank?
I mean, it just feels like they're finding out stuff we already know and not doing anything to prevent bad stuff from happening.
And now it's going to go even further in the other direction. Now they're going to be like, hey, that stuff you did pass, that's on science that we don't trust anymore. We're going to get rid of all those laws. It's like, what?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like you were just talking about the new primary color, and I was joking around. At first, now Pluto's not a planet. Now there's a new primary color. And now we're just going to throw out like hard scientific evidence.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, no, you can inhale a particulates. It's not a big deal.
That was back then.
Yeah.
This is science for now.
Yeah.
This is science for 2018.
This is, what is it? Historical. What does that guy say who debates Bill Nye? Historical science or historical facts?
Historical facts.
Yeah. Something ridiculous. Anyways. I'm getting sidetracked. Why don't you open us up, Frank? What's going on with this story? You said you were going to break it into some parts. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be able to get away with this. As I often have in my life, I'll find a way to like slip out of a situation like a greased up pig. It'll be fun. We'll see.
Greased up pig. Okay.
Yeah, like a greased up pig. Just like real excited, scurrying.
Right.
Slippery. But also cute.
Oh.
So to start off today, I'm going to teach you a little bit about microbes and how some microbes are a little bit worse than others. And all the knowledge I give you today will eventually make sense with the current event that I'm going to hit you with.
Interesting. Okay, so you're hitting us with the preface. All right, let's see.
And we talked about this before. The big risk of this happening is now I have an even better chance of one of the stories I have done being one of the stories that you have also done. And we think there's a pretty good chance it hasn't happened, but I'm still very nervous.
It could be true.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So microbes. Microbes are bacteria, viruses, fungi, little tiny bad things. They make us sick. They also do good things. One of the problems we're having with certain microbes is microbes produce very rapidly. So they're constantly reproducing, meaning one of the side effects of that is that they evolve very quickly. They're really good at like evolving to their environment and passing those evolutions down to the next generation. As a result, a lot of microbes have become resistant to the medicines that we use to fight them.
Okay.
And in 2014, I forget the name of the organization that put out the warning, but they were saying that if we don't do something about these microbes, like we're looking at approaching days, they called them the post-antibiotic age.
Oh my gosh.
Where we go back to like you fall and scrape your knee, there's a pretty good chance that you like might die from an infection.
Oh my gosh.
Which sounds like bad news.
Yeah, it does sound like bad news.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good to me. So obviously there's people doing research and trying to fight these bacteria and these viruses that are really hard to defeat. A lot of the treatments just like don't work. Some of the treatments to kill them are like really toxic. This is like do more harm to the host than
Yeah.
the virus, which is scary stuff. Very scary
Ooh.
stuff. But who knows? Maybe there's an unlikely hero to emerge somewhere down the line.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is the teaser. Is this next episode?
Tune in next time for the
Wow.
exciting conclusion.
Wow. I'm so excited to see where the story goes. I feel like I shouldn't even make commentary on
Yeah.
it.
So remember that microbes, scary.
Microbes.
Ooh,
Well,
bad.
just quick, and hopefully this doesn't go like into your next thing. It just kind of makes me think like microbes are just such a small part of nature. You know what I mean? The tiniest
Literally.
cog in the wheel.
But there's so many of them, like in numbers. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it moves everything, but it's just such a small but essential part. And sort of related to my last topic, it's clear that we don't take care of the environment, and sometimes as humans we make selfish decisions, and unfortunately the Earth suffers. And not to sound like a total hippie or something or like a pessimist, but if a microbe just decided to start killing humans off, like maybe that is nature's way of like bouncing back. You know what I mean? There's always some kind of like natural balance to things. And it just seems like nature's like, well, there's too many humans. What do I need to do to get rid of disease? That gets them every time.
That'll
hit 'em
get
with the
them.
diseases.
That'll teach them.
Interesting. Anyways, I'm not gonna ramble on anymore. I'm gonna wait and be patient. You know what? I'm doing all of mine out of order of how I originally wrote them.
That's okay. I have no idea what your order was.
That's true. The next topic is something that I think is just very interesting. I'm excited to get your thoughts about it.
Hit me with it, David.
Here is the title of this thing. It's transgender brains structured differently than cisgendered people's.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? This is by a medical school in San Paulo. They did a clinical trial of 80 subjects. They got 80 people. These people were the ages 18 to 49. Among them, they were split into 4 groups of 20 each. They had a group of cisgendered women, 20 of them. They had a group of cisgendered males, 20 of them as well. Then they had a group of 20 trans women who have taken hormones, and they got a group of 20 trans women who have not taken hormones. So those are the 4 groups. I hope I didn't say all that too fast.
It was nice. It was slow. It was almost as if you had a degree in teaching.
Nah, I'd be lame. I love teaching. I don't want to put that on the record that I said teaching was lame. Teaching's great. I'm just saying. Anyways, both trans women had high levels of what they call insula in both hemispheres of their brains. Insula has to do with how your body perceives itself. So they had a high level of these chemicals in their brain, both groups of transgendered women, the ones who've taken hormones and the ones who haven't taken hormones. Now, Spitzeri, who is the man who has conducted this experiment or who was leading this university study, medical center, he said that there are, while this is something that is, we're not sure if this is causation or correlation. Is it that this stuff, this insula, I can't speak right now.
Just keep thinking of the villain from Little Mermaid.
I mean, we were just talking about how I haven't seen any Disney movies. I definitely haven't seen Little Mermaid.
Why, David?
Because
I don't even like Disney. I've seen all these movies.
I don't know, man. That could be a whole podcast episode. Why I have seen 3 Disney movies pre-Pixar. I've seen a lot of Pixar movies. Anyways, the big thing here is they're wondering, okay, so is this insulin in their brains because they're transgendered? Is that what's causing them to be transgendered? Or is it because they don't identify with their body type that this is that part of the brain? You know what I mean? Like this is the side effect of it. And he says it's not conclusive either way. He did notice that there were structural differences in the MRI scans of these brains, but the issue is that most brains are different anyways. So while there are some trends and everything, it's also not necessarily conclusive. Although he, was basically saying that there was enough that something stood out, but not enough that they can kind of like determine what's going on. I read this study which kind of just told the facts straight. And in the study, they mentioned that there was another similar instance in the United States. So I clicked on that link, but the link took me to this super right wing website. And it was so intense, like how much they were like after every statement, like saying, "Oh, but this is the reason why," blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Which I think is it's fair to criticize it, but the other one was much more like center of the like here are just the facts of what people said. Anyways, the point I'm getting at, the second study, which happened in the U.S., was 15 male to female transgendered people and 14 female to male transgendered. So 14 transgender males, 15 transgendered females. They found 20 genes. They found 20 different genes that had some kind of noticeable difference that they all had in common. That was different from like a pool of people that they had already taken. Although again, it's the same kind of thing. Is this causation or is it correlation? I don't know. I just thought it was really, really interesting, Frank. I don't know. What do you think about this?
Well, it makes sense that people's brains would be different. I know I've heard studies before about the brain waves of homosexual people appearing different. And then, I mean, all kinds of things correlate to you having different brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And it, like you were saying, it's hard to tell if they're caused because of these things or if it's what's causing these things in the first place.
Yeah.
Because we definitely are the way our brains work changes. Like events definitely change the way your synapses communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's hard to tell, man.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell for sure. I think, well, there's a couple of different things I was thinking about this story. The first one is it's exciting because it's the first step in the scientific method. Like they've discovered something.
Your first story was failing the scientific method, and now it's being redeemed.
Yeah, now it's being redeemed in this story, which is what's exciting about it. Because if they know about this insula difference in the brain, then they can expand their research. They can use a larger group of people. They can really try and like figure out what's going on. Something that the man Spitzili, oh my gosh, Spitzoli. I picked the hardest names to say. I think it's just mostly because I'm.
You can call him Spicoli if you want.
Spicoli. I don't
You've given
want to be
him credit
disrespectful
enough.
to the science man. Anyway,
The science man.
the science man. Everybody.
In his lab coat.
He was also mentioning that along with a larger scale, what would be exciting to do with this study is to increase the age bracket. So they have a lot of kids now who are 6 or 7 years old. And some of these cases, their parents are giving, and this is like a super rare case. You know what I mean? It's not at all the norm, but they're giving their kids like growth hormones at a young age because their child is saying that they identify as a different gender, which I think can be a little bit dangerous, especially because they're little kids.
Yeah, we don't let little kids make a lot of really important decisions, and for good reason.
Yeah, you shouldn't,
because our brains haven't fully developed the way that our synapses like communicate with each other. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is.
Are like physically, you're still figuring out like how to be a person.
Yeah, hormones have to at least be past tattoos legally. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you could give your kid a tattoo if you signed off on it, but they would look at you weird.
You might want to get your first like rush of hormones at puberty before you start changing like your hormone makeup.
That's really scary. I would just hate for someone to get older in their life and just decide that maybe they made a huge mistake.
That's exactly the fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ugh. But anyways, what's exciting though is about this test. Say you have these kids who say, I identify this way. 6 or 7 year old kid, you could test them for the same thing and see if this insula thing is common among all ages. It's really like
that's very interesting,
tightening the scope on this whole thing, which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's a really good next step.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's going to be a cool study. I can't wait to see what follows up on it. What I thought was hilarious though, this whole time,
that was very musical of you.
Oh, thank you. This whole time, a typical conservative argument against transgender people is that they're just pretending, which I think is just like, it's just hateful. There's no other way to put it. It's just hateful.
It's intolerant
speech.
and
it's intolerant. It's a bigotry. But now it was funny to read the commentary on this right-wing page that I picked this thing up off of, because they were trying to like, oh well, this, and these could be possible reasons. They're dealing with the fact that there is now some sort of scientific evidence to show, hey, these people are different. Their brains are different. You know what I mean? Their genes are different. And whether you think it's because or you know, whichever way you think about it, you can't just say, oh, they're just pretending. Like what a totally callous thing to say. And just disrespectful to people. You know what I mean? Just like let's just be nice to each other, everybody. So if someone wants to identify that way, yes.
It's really just writing off a huge part of somebody's life.
Yeah.
Just tossing it aside.
Oh, your sexuality, that's not a big deal. Your gender
You
identity.
crazy kids
whatever.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just deal with it. And I mean, people are like, well, it's never happened before, but it's like, well, no, it did. It's happened for a very, very long time, but people just used to be like stoned to death.
They
so they
used
wouldn't
to
say
kill
anything.
those people
Yeah.
or
So
lock them away.
yeah, these people deserve representation. Sorry, this has gone off into like a total left-wing tangent, but the point being though is, hey, now there's science working, man. What's next? But they'll just deny the science. That's what they always do. That's what the first story proved.
It's the easiest way to combat something. Just flat out deny it.
Science, reason, fake news.
Fake news. Well, thank you, David. That was interesting.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, and we're back for
Oh,
part
gosh.
2 of this amazing adventure.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so on this next little part of our journey together, we're going to go to the realm of biology, I guess a little bit more specifically zoology. We're going to learn about
Okay.
our little friend, the platypus.
Okay, where is this story going? Okay. Platypus is fascinating. Do
It really
continue.
is. My goodness,
Yeah.
what an amazing animal.
What an oddity.
And we're about to learn some amazing things about the
Ooh, I'm
platypus.
excited.
So, platypuses, and
Platypi.
No, I've joked around it for so long that I had to Google the plural of platypuses.
Oh, and it is
platypuses. Yeah,
It should be
And
platypi.
I wish it was platypi.
Yeah, it
It's so
should be
much more
platypi.
fun.
Yeah.
You know what? For the remainder of this podcast, it's platypi.
We're taking the power back, everybody.
Taking it back. If you're gonna take Pluto away from me, and if you're gonna add more primary colors and just flat out deny evidence that I've already read in textbooks,
I will have platypi.
I will have platypi. My God, I will have it. So platypi hail from Eastern Australia, a strange land known as Australia.
The outback.
The outback, the eastern part, and that includes Tasmania, little island, buddy.
Okay.
They are covered in waterproof hair. It like insulates like warm air, so it keeps them super warm all the time, all warm and cozy and weird. They have a duck bill, if you're not familiar with a platypus,
Yeah.
webbed feet, and a beaver-like tail.
Yeah.
Strange little creature. They range anywhere in weight. I think it was like from 1.5 pounds to 5 pounds. So weird little range of body sizes.
Hmm.
If there was a platypi wrestling league, they would have to have weight classes.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here with that amazing imagery.
If you also didn't know, platypi are mammals,
Mhm.
but they lay eggs.
Yeah.
They're one of 5 mammals that lay eggs.
Ooh,
The other 4
ooh.
are all just species of echidnas. So it's a very
Ooh,
strange
like
little creature.
Knuckles. Aren't echidnas from Australia as well? Or am I totally
believe
off
they
on
are
that?
also.
I think they're the same region.
Yeah, they might be, but I didn't do
Wow.
any research on echidnas today.
I just know about Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles is an
And
echidna.
do you know the way?
Oh God. So they are what are they called?
Platypi.
No, mammals that give live birth are called monotremes.
Okay.
One
Which is
little,
virtually all mammals. Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Mammals that give birth that lay eggs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Which is
excuse me.
virtually no mammals.
Yeah, it's 5 of them. It's
Yeah.
literally 5. What makes this unique even more is that the males they all have a what do they call it? There's a scientific word for it, I know. A spur. I didn't find it, but it just came to me. They all have an extra spur down by their webbed feet.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the males, it excretes venom.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew they were poisonous, which
Yeah,
is
crazy.
amazing.
What a ridiculous animal.
Can I just tell you something really quick?
Tell me something.
You started your story about platypi, and then in my head I thought, oh, how much do I know about platypi? Then I was like, I got the plural wrong. What else is wrong?
What else do I not know about platypi?
Then I was thinking, like, I should have had Frank ask me everything I know about platypi first. But then I convinced myself for a second that I was wrong about them laying eggs. I was like, that's ridiculous. Mammals don't lay eggs.
Everything about this animal is ridiculous.
When you said that, though, there was a sense of relief. I hypothetically just in my brain put myself in an embarrassing situation and got out of it.
Congratulations, David.
Sorry,
I'm happy for you.
I'm crazy.
So strange little animals, indeed. So they lay these eggs, the little platypi babies, which are, by the way, adorable.
Oh yeah,
they're completely adorable. I like to just touch one a little bit. That'd be fun. They live in burrows, so they live in like wet burrows. They're like semi-aquatic animals. They swim around a lot. So they're just like a damp, gross burrows, which are by nature crawling in microbes.
Ooh, there's the link, everyone.
Interesting.
Shocking revelation.
Interesting.
Is it me now? Is that where is this a cliffhanger? I'm not trying to cut you off.
I am going to do my cliffhanger there, but one little fact that I forgot to mention about platypi, because I enjoyed researching about them so much that I just remember most of the things that I learned, and I haven't been looking at my notes too much.
Okay.
But they don't have, fun fact, platypi do not have teats or nipples.
Whoa.
Making them even weirder.
Whoa.
Do you want to know how their babies get their milk, David?
Is it like a baby bird feeding thing? Is it like similar to a bird?
I feel like that would be less weird.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what is it? I'm so excited.
They excrete or sweat like the milk out through glands in their tummy.
What?
And then the baby platypi just like lick it off with their dirty bellies.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
That these baby platypi don't just die from all the microbes on these bellies.
Ooh, what?
What a mystery of science.
What are you leaving on us, Frank? Okay, everyone, I'm going to shoot through this next story real quick so we can get back to Franklin's charming tale. This is a master storytelling going on over here.
I should mess up like this more often.
I know, right? This actually really worked out. For my final installment of Triple Stories, it's new information on Jupiter. I don't know if you've heard about this, man.
I heard something about drops of Jupiter.
My gosh.
But
I will quit this podcast if you make another train reference. Okay. I'm just
For those who didn't know, Train is David's favorite band of all time.
No.
He has a Train tattoo.
Train is one of the most egregious assaults on music known to man. My goal for this podcast is to get famous enough to where I can meet him personally and just give him a real disappointed review.
just review him to his face.
Exactly. Look, Train is uninspired.
That would be actually really satisfying.
Your
I bet.
lyrics are nonsensical. I would love to do that, but you know what? To be honest, I couldn't pull the trigger. I don't think I could be that mean to someone, especially another musician. Like just to like. Anyways,
I'm sure he gave it his best, even though it sucked. It's just that's the problem. His best sucked.
I'm so glad you mentioned Train because I was actually going to make a reference to music and I was like, nah, don't get too off topic. But since you already brought in music to this whole thing, Jupiter is also arguably, well, not arguably. Well, I mean, yeah, you could have an argument about it. Gustav Holst's suite, The Planets, for symphony orchestra. Jupiter might be the best movement. Mars is the most famous. Man, they're all good. They're all good. That's the problem. Based on Roman mythology, but Jupiter in particular. So this goes out to you all who are video game fans. If you like Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls, in Jupiter, in that movement, you can hear where it's like ripped off pretty much, like the theme from Morrowind, which comes back in the other game. So I don't know. Check that out. It's like 3 minutes into the recording of Jupiter.
Everybody samples, David.
But it's great. Well, it's all art is influenced. You know what I mean? There's no original ideas for sure. Everyone's copied something, or even in us just creating a podcast and YouTube channel, we've already been like, oh well, I kind of like this. You take an idea here and there, you tweak it a little bit. I mean, it's a fine line with plagiarism, but anyways, the whole point that I'm trying to roundabout get to, the NASA Juno spacecraft, which has just been doing like, I guess, space reconnaissance, space exploration.
Space recon. How exciting.
Recon. That's a cool phrase. They brought us information on Jupiter. New information that's like scientific revelations. You know what I mean? This stuff's never been seen before. It's actually very...
That's a book of revelations I could get behind.
Oh my gosh. It's got me very excited because back when I was a child, when I was a youngin', you talk about Jupiter in science class and you'd learn that the planet was a gas giant. You'd learn about how huge it was. You were like, whoa, space. I always love space. But then you find out like, what, we really don't know what's on the inside. You know what I mean? It just seemed like such an alarming thing. Well,
it's like a Tootsie Pop before.
I know,
it's
right?
like your first Tootsie Pop.
But even more appealing.
But you know what? Even deeper, I have no idea what a Tootsie Roll is. So I still have like fundamentally no idea what's inside a Tootsie Pop.
Interesting. A Tootsie Roll is like taffy chocolate. It's the consistency of taffy with like the flavoring of chocolate.
It makes me uncomfortable.
But even more chocolatey. It's weird. Anyways.
I won't eat it unless it's covered in hard candy.
It's like the last of your Halloween candy bag when you're a kid.
It's good for throwing.
You get
I
to
know
the
that.
end, it's like Tootsie Rolls and Sweet Tarts, and you're like, I guess I'm gonna eat all these cheap neighbors I have. Anyways, so the gas giant, we've gotten our first observation of the inside of the gas giant, which, you know, assumedly it was just gas with some sort of core, right? They found out, well, first off, the atmosphere.
Is it nacho cheese?
Get out of here. The atmosphere of Jupiter is 3,000 kilometers long, which in America is 1,860 miles. I actually did a couple like searches because I was trying to figure out what an equatable distance was. I tried LA to New Orleans. It was my second choice. My first one was LA to New York, which was way too far. I did LA to New Orleans though. 1,839 miles. I got like right on it. I got 21 miles away. Anyways, think about that. The atmosphere. So from like the surface to the top, it's the distance from LA to New Orleans, which is pretty crazy. They found in the middle, from different kind of samplings, that there is a fluid mixture that acts like a solid that's rotating and spinning in the center of Jupiter. It's a mixture of hydrogen and helium. It's crazy stuff. If you were to get down there, say you were to get to that fluid mixture, the pressure there is 100,000 times the normal pressure on Earth, just like on our, like standing here, not underwater
that made me
or
feel
anything.
Anxious.
100,000. That's like crazy. I don't know. Some
It's
other
a lot of pressure.
scientific revelations that have been made by Jupiter, by this discovery. Their gravitational field is not symmetrical north to south, which means that this thing spinning, this like fluid mixture, is like slightly oblong, but they say that it appears to be perfectly spherical. To be honest, I don't know enough science to even know like what that could mean. It's just crazy. Jupiter's atmosphere is 1% of its mass. That huge amount of atmosphere I'm talking about, it's that small core in the middle. It's 1% of its mass, all that atmosphere. That 1% of mass, the atmosphere of Jupiter, is equal to the weight of 3 Earths, which is just insane. I don't know. Earth's atmosphere is only 1/1,000,000th of our planet, to put that into perspective. So our entire atmosphere around Earth, 1/1,000,000th of a percent. Jupiter's is 1%.
I wish you could have seen how hard David shook his finger when he said 1 million.
1
You were very
million.
firm about that 1 million.
That's a ridiculous amount, man. That's a ridiculous amount. And just to put it in perspective, I mean, everyone learned this when they were like younger, but maybe forgot. 1,300 Earths fit inside of Jupiter. That's how much atmosphere we're talking about.
That is mind-boggling.
It's
mind-boggling.
It's not
it's the best
even,
word.
Yeah, it's not even recognizable. So the last thing, which I saved this for the end because I wanted to share these with you while we're doing the podcast. I'm going to pass it over. It's a series of photographs, not artist renditions, but photographs. This first one is an infrared image of the poles. The poles on Jupiter, their north and south pole, even though their gravitational field isn't like lined up exactly right, there are cyclones at each pole. And the pole on top is 9 cyclones, one in the center and 8 around it that make a geometrical image.
Are you just saying like
And then
constantly?
they're just constantly going. In the south, it's 6 cyclones with 1 in the center and 5 making a pentagon around it.
That sounds so metal.
It's so metal. I'm gonna put these images in the podcast so everyone can see them in the podcast video.
Oh
when
my
we render
goodness.
it.
Oh,
That's the infrared
my.
image.
That's beautiful.
It's the most metal thing ever. If you keep scrolling though, it's all the rest. It's a bunch of pictures. The other tab I opened up on that computer, all images that they've taken from this trip, and it's things that are insane. I mean, there's all these kinds of scientific
It
discoveries.
almost looks
right
like
now.
another planet or something.
I know, right? What? They're also saying, though, now that they're getting more information, that they think it's very possible that one of Jupiter's moons could habitat life. So they're going to be kind of like looking into that next, which is insane. I don't know. It's so
My
crazy.
goodness. Space is so cool.
Space is the coolest, man. It's so cool, so scary.
We've
So
talked about it
vast.
before, and I'm like not a fan of flying, and I don't like falling or like roller coasters or anything. But if I had an opportunity to go to space and I knew there was a possibility of never coming back or just like burning up in the atmosphere, I would be super down.
Right? I think I would too. I don't know.
Shoot me into space.
I mean, maybe if they gave you the real decision, it'd be a harder decision to make, but I feel like I'm down.
I mean, I'd
like,
tussle with it,
you're
but I
taking
feel like
a colony
knowing
of people
myself,
to another
like,
planet?
yeah,
What?
yeah, let's
You
go.
could be the first people to ever live on that planet. That's
Can I
amazing.
bring my dog?
Probably not though, because of
Probably
like
not.
because of microbes. But
Speaking of which,
well, there's just one more thing, and it kind of goes along with this microbe thing, because that's what always happens in aliens
ooh, a
movies.
double tie-in.
They go to some planet and they don't know what's there. You know what I mean? I just love that this story is just like some of these things aren't even comprehensible because we get so. At least I do sometimes. I get caught up in the fact that it's like, well, there's other planets, but they have to have a lot of similarities to my planet. You know what I mean? Sure, they're further away or whatever, but things like cyclones that are constantly forming at the poles, like what? Like this
Is
liquid
insanity.
center in the middle. The one that really
A core that doesn't like a magnetic axis that is oblong but seems perfectly spherical.
and there could be a core inside of it. You know what I mean?
A core
This
within
is
the core?
essentially like this is like the center of the planet beyond the atmosphere, but it would be the same thing as like the ground that we step on, where
Oh
there's
my
still another
goodness.
core inside. They don't know.
What is
Um,
that? What ridiculous science is happening in there?
Who knows, dude? It's like something no one's ever seen. The other one
More
that
cyclones.
got me the more cycles these like the other one that got me, which isn't new information, but like when I learned that Mars doesn't have tectonic plates, it like blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean? Don't all planets have tectonic plates?
That's
It's like,
just
no,
how we do it.
Mars just has a bunch of volcanoes, and one of the volcanoes is like the size of Texas or something, and they just erupt periodically to release pressure from the inside, and that's like what the same thing our tectonic plates serve as. It's just really trips me. I don't know. Science is crazy, man.
That's crazy to think about because not to toot our own horns or anything, but Texas is pretty big.
Texas. I mean, and the best. So that is tooting the horn, though.
Toot toot. Toot toot, y'all. Beautiful. It was very interesting, David.
Thank you.
Space.
Space, the final frontier.
Ah, I love space. Can't be said enough.
The final frontier.
So, last time we left off, we were talking about our friend the platypus a little bit. We talked about microbes, how bad some of them can be.
I love
Got
your
some scary
planet Earth
situations.
vibes going on right now.
If you could give me some planet Earth type photos while I'm doing that little spiel,
I'll
I'd
see if
really
I can do
appreciate
that. I'll
that.
see if
That'd
I
be
can do
super
that.
cool. Let's see. I lost track of my notes because I wasn't really going off of these notes. Oh, actually, this is exactly where I need to be. How perfect.
I love
Some
all the
things were
paper
meant to
flipping
be.
noises. They're so clear. Okay, keep going.
It's very crisp.
It is.
It's got a nice snap to
Mm.
it. These microphones, love them. The platypus has always been appealing not just to like normal folks like us who
Okay.
think it's a super cool animal, but to scientists who like in biology in general, and recently to people who are researching drugs, because it is such an interesting animal and has such an interesting genetic makeup that there's got to be stuff going on in this thing. Um, in let's see, in 2010, it was first discovered that in the milk of platypus there are some really interesting antibacterial properties.
Ooh, okay.
They think the reason for these properties are the fact that the babies are licking the milk off of these dirty tummies and these dirty little holes, you know what I mean? There's got to be a way for them to survive and overcome the constant attack of microbes.
Life finds a way.
Life finds a way. Life knows the way.
Wow, we're going full circle today, everybody. We're knocking them out of the park.
It's not super uncommon for milk to have antibacterial properties. Like lots of mammals work that way. Let's see. Excuse me. So the scientists who are working on this discovery that we're talking about today work at CSIRO, which is the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization. It's the federal organization for Australia for scientific research.
Okay.
Yeah. So these guys replicated one of the proteins that they were seeing in the milk. They used a process called X-ray crystallography, which I read a little bit about, but I left out on my notes because I still don't really understand 100%. TBH.
I mean, I felt the same way when I was reading about, a lot of this stuff. Science is so intense.
Like, listen, I love science.
Yeah.
Not a scientist.
Not a scientist, everyone.
Do
Don't come
not
here
claim to be a scientist.
for your scientific fact.
No, do not do that. In case you were ever wondering, nothing we tell you on this podcast or in these YouTube videos should be taken as advice or hard fact. Even if I yell fact. Actually, most of the time when I yell fact,
he's trying
I
to
am in
assert
fact
that he's
lying. Yeah,
for sure. Fact.
Yeah, fact. So yeah, they in this protein they saw a structure that they had never seen in a protein before, David.
Ooh.
How exciting. The protein folds three-dimensionally. So it's very similar to a ringlet or a curl, if you will.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with curls, but I could show you some if you'd like to see. They're back here in my head.
Oh, I thought you meant like the workout routine. I'm down.
No,
Do
interesting.
some curls real quick.
So due to this interesting shape, these scientists are people too. That means they have emotions, and that means that they can be super adorable because they named this protein the Shirley Temple.
Aw.
Yeah, totes
curls.
Because of the curls, David. It's important because it increases our knowledge of proteins protein structure in general.
Okay.
They published these findings on the 14th of this current month. That's March for those of you who do not own a calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now they're pretty much just looking for collaborators to help them further this knowledge in the field of drug research to help us survive. Well, not just survive, but help prevent those post antibiotic like days. Because honestly, that sounds really bad. I'm constantly I'm covered in little cuts and scratches right now. I'm constantly hurting myself. If my antibiotics stop working, I'm dead for sure.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
I feel like I could survive a lot of things, but not that. I'm gonna die.
That's pretty crazy. Well,
but maybe the platypus can save us.
Maybe the
platypus and the hard work of these scientists down in Australia. We salute you.
Always trust the platypi, everyone. That's the message today.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, man. I think, well, first off, I mean, you could tell that we're kind of going that way with antibiotics, especially with it being so prevalent, like in meat, all these different areas. There's been scientific research that shows it's been like less effective, or we have to develop stronger versions of antibiotics.
And that's one of the things that's shooting us in the foot because they do evolve so fast and we're just throwing all this stuff at them. And life
Yeah.
does find a way, David. It will
Yeah, it
find a way to
does, right?
survive.
This is just like that episode of Futurama where every year they just get a bigger block of ice and drop it in the planet, and that's how they stop global warming, which coincidentally is what we're going to be doing soon after the EPA shuts all this stuff down until we can't get a block of ice big enough.
And I definitely wanted to like take a moment and get like a little bit PSA for a second.
Oh, interesting.
Do not misuse antibiotics. Don't just take your antibiotics that you have sitting around, David.
Take them.
Don't take them.
Take them, everyone. Don't go to the doctor. Don't get it prescribed.
Don't do it
Just take them.
because I will die.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, that is true. You are definitely hurting other people around you if you're
Yeah,
misusing
you're hurting
antibiotics.
humanity. Like
Yeah.
literally, that's what you're doing when you're
So-
misusing antibiotics. You are hurting the human race.
Unless you're a
You're
nihilist,
helping the
unless you're a
microbes
nihilist,
win.
finish all your antibiotics when they get prescribed to you. Finish the whole bottle, and then
Yeah,
you're
if
good.
you are a nihilist, you just learned a new fun
we
thing
got
to
nihilists. Sorry. We should take some antibiotics right now.
do. Just some after podcast antibiotics.
Yeah, hey, you got some penicillin? No, that's a terrible idea. I mean, hopefully it never comes to that point where it
sounds terrifying. It
is
sounds
a
like the Dark
terrifying
Ages.
world. Yeah, all jokes and stupid things aside, it would be the Dark Ages. That's essentially what it'd be. It'd be a second Dark Ages. It'd be awful. Millions, billions might die. Who knows?
But hey, maybe that's one of the things nature's throwing at us. Just gonna hit us with the microbes.
Oh man, that's scary stuff, dude. We should have had you go first. That's scary stuff to end on. We should have ended on Jupiter in space.
You gotta scare them, David.
Ooh, we could write a great sci-fi script though. So then the Earth out of antibiotics, microbes just being super aggressive trying to kill mankind. We take a last shuttle to Jupiter to explore the liquid core, find out if there's anything down there, anything else.
For a second, I thought you were gonna do like a magic school bus type thing where we
Oh.
shrink ourselves down
Whoa.
to fight the microbes with our guns.
Dang. Okay, I was gonna.
But Jupiter also sounds cool. We can probably take guns to Jupiter.
Ooh. Sounds like Jupiter needs some freedom, everybody.
Sounds like Jupiter needs.
Sounds
some
like Jupiter
freedom.
needs that Second Amendment, everybody. Let's get our guns over there. Show them who's boss. Texas. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's Peeps and Predicts time.
It is time for Peeps and Predicts.
Yeah,
I thought
man.
we were done. I forgot why we had these two little cups sitting here on the table.
Jars, really. Many cup jars.
I guess they are jars.
Let me see here. We have actually a healthy amount of Peeps.
Nice. That's good.
We're getting a little low on Predicts, but I feel like I say this every week, so let's just save it. Let's
I
save
mean,
the
and
nonsense.
like every week, if you have any suggestions for Peeps or for Predicts, and I guess just real quick, if you are unfamiliar with what we were talking about at
Yeah.
all, Peeps and
Oh,
Predicts
yeah.
is everyone's favorite segment where we draw two people, be it fictional characters, be it celebrities, be
Okay.
it just powerful people in general. And they're going to face off in some predicaments or
Mhm.
predicts, if you will. So if you have any idea of a pairing of two people who would be good at facing off in something, specifically if you believe one of those is capable of defeating Batman,
Oh, here it comes.
please, dear God, send me something.
This has turned into the Batman program. Ever since episode 5, we've had Batman as reigning champ.
Please.
And unfortunately, I don't think today's going to change that. I just pulled out the old Peeps here. Just quick side note. I don't want to
Someone
start getting picky
please
on
help
everyone.
me.
Can we just stop with Donald Trump, though? I don't want to talk about Donald Trump anymore. This is like the third one we've gotten. It's Vladimir Putin versus Donald Trump.
I think that was me, and that's
think
like
it was.
that's an OG Peeps and Predicts.
Yeah, this
that
is
was
like one of the first
my
ones we've put
first
in.
suggestions.
Yeah, this looks
ever.
like your handwriting because it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it in my notebook when I was flipping through today.
What is hilarious is, well, not hilarious, but Vladimir Putin won his re-election, his 4th term in a row, just a couple days
no
ago.
way.
I know,
Just
right?
a kid from nowhere.
Yeah, just a scrappy young lad whose charisma and chutzpah has put him all the way to the top. Obviously, Vladimir Putin's going to win. They have a false democracy. People stay home to vote, to protest. People are afraid to protest to vote against him. But what's sort of shocking in news is that Donald Trump, well, not shocking because it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump just congratulated Vladimir Putin on Twitter. Like, congratulations on winning your 4th election in a row. Yada, yada.
Wow.
It's just like, imagine. Like, and let me preface this because I'm definitely super left wing, and that's been made very clear on this channel. I don't agree with most things Democrats decide, particularly establishment Democrats. But imagine if Barack Obama was congratulating Vladimir Putin on an election victory, the eruption that would happen from the other side.
We'd still be hearing about it.
Yeah.
Like it was just hypothetically speaking, like Donald Trump had demanded Barack Obama's birth certificate.
Just hypothetically speaking.
Just
hypothetically speaking. Yeah, anyways, I just think that's hilarious. I mean, and now people are like, well, you know, he's just trying to be nice to other. It was like, what? Vladimir Putin's KGB? What? Anyways.
Hey, the KGB's our friend, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're cool
Everybody
with those
loves
guys.
the KGB.
Yeah. Oh geez. Oh geez. Well, Frank, why don't you pull out the first predicament? Let's figure out who's winning tonight.
Sorry, I can't reach. There we go. Oh, that's upside down. Interesting. I might have gotten a peep, but this could also be a predict.
Oh, did you
Let
get
me
out
see
of
that
this
jar one more time. I got it out of the jar that you handed me, David.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure I gave you the right one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, pour me one of those. Yeah, pour me a cold one. Pour me a cold predict. Oh, Meryl.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter now. I was gonna say we should pause so we cut it out, but it's authentic, everyone. We're lo-fi. Come on.
Okay. It's definitely the predicts jar.
Okay.
There's a predict in here that we can't use, so I'm gonna go ahead and just read it now because Alexis missed the prompt a little bit. But also, when we got these suggestions from Alexis, he was very inebriated. I do remember that very clearly.
I'm pretty sure I wrote on some of them "drunk Alexis,"
Yeah,
as the person who wrote it.
So just as a fun treat, one of our suggested, and it's a shame we can't do this, but I don't think it's going to work for the purposes of this segment. Floor TP versus no TP.
Floor TP versus
like there's no TP
TP
in the stall, but there's a little bit of TP on the floor. What do you do?
Oh,
Which is a predicament.
But
not the type that we're looking for.
Interesting.
Thank you for that, Alexis.
Hey, Alexis, that might spawn a future segment when we inevitably have to cancel this after Batman wins 30 times in a row.
So this one's also a little bit off, but I feel like it could still work.
Okay, what is it?
You versus the guy/girl that she/he told you not to worry about. So I'm thinking this could work. Who's better at holding down the lady, Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump?
Dang. Ooh. Okay,
Who's gonna keep the girl?
I'm gonna start this off with a very even-handed, debate here.
I already know which way I'm voting.
I think you're gonna vote for Vladimir Putin because that guy's like shirtless riding on a bear. That's what I'm assuming you're voting for.
Obvi.
Vladimir Putin's obviously got the physique, the terror-inducing stature that is Vladimir Putin.
I mean, not just the stature, but the stare. It's a whole package.
And here's all I'm going to say, which every time we get Donald Trump, I have to end up defending him. But some of these make sense. This is why he wins so big, everyone. He keeps winning until we're tired of winning.
It's because he's got the best people.
He's got the best people. The fact that Melania Trump is around right now. The fact that she hasn't Tom and Baratheoned herself. Like, it's incredible. It's totally incredible. Like,
I was so ready to just discount whatever you're going to say, but that is a solid point.
Right? And not only that, but I mean, Melania Trump is a nice looking lady. That's because Donald Trump has the other thing. Other than fear and intimidation, it's money.
I mean, and more so power.
Power, yeah. Ooh. That is tough. But let's
the argument I wanted to hit
yeah,
you with
okay.
in favor of
pro Vladimir.
Yeah, pro Vladimir.
Pro Putin. What's your pro Putin argument, Frank?
My pro Putin argument. This is where I stand on Putin. So yeah, as I was going to say, you can't just leave Vladimir Putin. I feel like if you are going to leave Vladimir Putin, you disappear. And that's the same thing as never leaving, because that life, that's on you.
That's
you
true.
gave the order.
But could you say the same? Well, maybe not the same thing about Donald Trump.
No, this is America. It's slightly harder for the government to make you disappear.
That's true.
Just a little bit.
That's true. Okay, let me think about this really hard, because here's Donald Trump. Okay, here's the first question. And maybe you can Google this while I'm talking about my second question, if you don't mind. Has Vladimir Putin had an ex-wife?
Interesting. I actually don't know that.
I don't know that either. I don't even know if he's married. I don't think he is. I've never heard anything about Putin's wife.
Seems like a swinger. Seems like a bachelor.
Yeah. Interesting. Maybe he's into Donald Trump. I don't know. Donald Trump has had past wives, but there's almost an encouragement to leave Donald Trump because you get so much out of it. But now the question is, what's up with Melania? Doesn't seem like she's into this thing. I don't know. There's just only so many guesses that I can make. That's hard to say.
We have a wealth of clips that prove how much Melania does not love Donald.
Yeah, so much, but she stays.
Is
it for the power? It's because the power is incredible.
What if he's just like a sexual dynamo?
There's no way. What if he just pays her a bunch of money?
What if
like, hey, I need to appear to be well, I need to appear to be like the average American with my wife, with my foreign wife.
The everyday American with his foreign wife. It's like Donald. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger being everyday man and Jingle All the Way.
It's just role reversal. It's perfect. Or maybe she's like, who knows, dude? I would love to read Melania's memoir 30 years from now. You know what I mean? Like when she's just an old lady, Donald Trump's dead 20 years ago from too many cheeseburgers, and then she decides like, I'm gonna tell all, this is everything. I want to read that book, man. That sounds like a good time.
It'll definitely be some information, like some answers to questions that I have for sure.
That's insane. Did you get a chance to see what's going on with Putin?
Yes, Vladimir Putin is divorced.
Ooh.
And has a child with his girlfriend. Vladimir Putin gets the ladies.
He does, but I mean, that kind of tosses a hole in the argument there. It sounds like she can take off.
Vladimir Putin's only been divorced once.
That's true. Trump's been divorced twice?
I guess let's find out.
We better find out just to be scientifically accurate. Now, the other question, too, is
if we're going to stay true to the scientific method, we need to make sure we got the right numbers.
Is the science episode, we have to be as scientific as possible. We need to find out what the, what the standings are for these people before we can start this hypothetical debate all the way. I mean, there are questions we probably won't be able to get the answers to, but like, did she leave Putin? Did Putin get tired of her and he wanted a new chick? You know what I mean? That's hard to say. Girlfriend? Like, what's up, Vlad? You can't tie the knot, man.
Nah, dude. He learned his lesson.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's been married 3 times, so 2 divorces.
So 2 divorces.
I mean, Vlad's winning.
Yeah. I can see your argument. But
numbers.
The only thing about the numbers, though, is it's like Vladimir Putin now doesn't have a wife. He's got a girlfriend. The guy who's concerned about his wife leaving him for another person doesn't just keep the girlfriend. He gets married. That's the point of the question. In this predicament, Vladimir Putin wouldn't even care. He'd be like, what? She's going to go off with that guy? I'll murder him. That's not even a concern. For Donald Trump, he has like male impotency issues. He's got tiny hands. You know what I'm saying? He is worried about that. And his thing is like, oh, I need to show a bunch of power and money. It just seems like he's more like the prompt. But I don't know, man. I could lean either way, to be honest. This is pretty even to me.
I mean, I think you swayed me, man. It's really hard to beat power and money.
Right? And I feel like Putin just wouldn't care. And he would just have like someone blow that person's apartment up.
Go.
Yeah. He's not fighting for anyone. He's
Yeah,
not
that's
like,
true.
oh, please don't leave me, baby.
Yeah,
No way.
I
It's-
don't see that happening.
It seems racist to do a Russian accent, everyone. I apologize.
Do it.
Michelle and I have been talking about this. What is the line on accents, Frank?
I love accents. Do them.
I guess as long as you're not being stereotypical. I
Yeah.
think that's part of it. But an accent, in a way, is stereotypical. I don't know.
I love accents, and I don't just mean like I think they're funny. I mean I appreciate the differences and dialect. It's a beautiful thing.
Let us know in the comments below how you feel about accents. British accent, not racist. Chinese accent can be racist for sure.
It depends how you can do a Chinese accent with respect,
Is it like
but if you want to be cartoony about it, that's
yeah.
when
But
the
you
lines
could
get
do
crossed.
cartoony British, and I feel like it wouldn't be as offensive.
It's because we beat them. We
It's
get to
because
do
we
it.
beat them, yeah. Once we beat you, we get to make fun of your language.
That's why we can make fun of the French too, because
Oh.
we bailed them out.
Oh, that's true. Life debt.
Yeah,
Some Chewbacca Han Solo stuff going on there.
exactly. France is our Chewbacca.
Francis or Chewbacca. Just,
Can't really understand what they're saying. Kind of smell a little bit, but we're buds.
Bravo. Bravo, Frank. That was incredible. Well, let's pull another predict out of here. Let's see what old Donnie Trump
Donnie baby.
has come up to. Okay. Competitive eating.
Oof.
I mean,
What are they eating? Cheeseburgers? If it's cheeseburgers, no contest.
well, I'm just saying Donald Trump eats what was it? It was like 2 Big Macs, a fillet of fish. He drinks 12 Diet Cokes every day. He drinks a 12-pack of Diet Coke every day. Or it might be 6. I don't know. I could be wrong. But like they released information about Donald Trump's diet. That dude is putting away food like no one else. I don't understand.
Vlad's
it.
like swole.
Yeah, but
But
do
you know what?
people eat what? I don't know.
In competitive eating, though, it is a disadvantage to be a schlub.
Oh, that's true. It is like a discipline, really.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Donald Trump's got no discipline.
Like Kobayashi, that dude's stacked, man. He's a tiny little ripped Asian dude.
You know what, man? I feel like, hey, let's pull out the third predict. I'm down to vote. I don't think there's any kind of argument. Oops, I accidentally opened this one. I think we have to do it now. I don't think there's any argument. You know what I mean? Like Vladimir Putin was in the KGB. If that guy needed to train to do something to beat someone, he's gonna do it.
Exactly.
Like, Donald Trump couldn't. I don't think so. And this isn't
Just surviving being alive in Russia alone leaves you pretty apt to do a lot of things.
that's true. Just
Just
living
being
in
Russian.
Russia.
Like just being Russian.
Yeah. You're more intense. There's that intensity. And I hope that
If
I mean-
Russian was a character choice in a video game, your brother would tell you were cheating because you picked it all the time.
for reals, Zangief, Street Fighter, but he sucks. That's a bad example. Really slow. I'm like way off topic, and I'm gonna get even more off topic. I just want to to articulate a point, and that is that look, everyone, I understand y'all that we're talking about trash about Donald Trump all the time. I think in this instance, though, this wouldn't matter if he was still just the guy from The Apprentice. He's schlubby. He's a schlubby guy, president or no president.
Yeah, as far as like being able to like train for an event and then winning at something competitively, gotta
Let's-
give it to Vlad on this one.
Let's settle this, man. Let's get the tiebreaker in here.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
Who's gonna win in a rap battle? Can you imagine Donald Trump rapping?
I mean, I wish my
I bet
Trump
he
accent was
has.
better.
I bet you Donald Trump rapped in
No.
a commercial or something, dude. I bet you.
Ooh, actually, maybe it was in Home Alone 2. He does a small rap scene in Home Alone 2.
It's very similar to the rap scene for Vanilla Ice in the second Ninja Turtles movie.
Ugh, I forgot about that, man. Oh my gosh.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Oh, I'm gonna get flagged for copyright for Vanilla Ice of all things. I don't know, dude. To be honest, I don't think either of these guys would pull off a rap battle.
I mean, it would be atrocious either way, but who's the crowd gonna go for?
Donald Trump, dude. He's the hype man. Donald Trump is the hype man. If you're talking about someone
Where's the
putting on a
rap battle
performance-
happening?
Let's say it was a neutral location. Like, what country hates U.S. and Russia equally?
Well, I was
That's
going to say who's
that's
the most
hard.
neutral? The Swiss.
The Swiss. Say we went to Switzerland and we had Donald Trump against Vladimir Putin. It would still be
It would be two people rapping who have no understanding of rap,
probably no
rapping
sense
to
of
a
rhythm.
crowd who probably doesn't have a strong understanding of rap either.
That's racist, man. There's a ton of great Swiss rap artists.
Name one.
MC Swiss.
There you go. Good job, David.
Little Swiss.
Little Swiss.
Too Swiss. Sorry. Okay, anyways. None of those jokes were good. I just got to go off straight showman, straight ability to rile up an audience, to say nothing and still have people hang on to your every word. It's got to be Donald Trump.
I was regrettably about to make the same point. Like, as far as being a showman, like, Vladimir Putin is all power.
Yeah.
He's not like a great speaker or anything. It's
Yeah.
not exciting. Donald Trump, unfortunately, is an entertainer. Our president is an entertainer.
He is.
Yep.
Yep. See y'all in 7 years.
The most unfortunate part about this is just, like, I have to root for Batman now.
Well, speaking of rooting for Batman, let's draw this last one out of here. Okay, everyone.
Let's get this over with.
Now that we've decided that Donald Trump is the victor of the evening, he has to go against our reigning Peeps and Predicament champ, Batman. Now, would be his like third time losing to Batman. So unless this predicament is like
Specifically
who's going to have
catered
a
to Donald Trump.
better game show about kicking off celebrities, which I would still make a strong argument for Batman. But let's see what's going on here. Applies for a library card. Tony Lascano. Tony Lascano dropped this one in here.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah,
Thank
shout
you,
out to Tony Tones. I hope you made it all the way through this episode. I'm definitely going to send it to you. Or I might just tell you this in the last like 30 minutes. Whatever. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at. Okay, well, this is stupid because Donald Trump doesn't read. It's Batman. Good night, everybody. I mean, do you have an argument against that?
I don't have an argument against it, David. I honestly don't. I just want to stop talking about Batman and stop talking about Donald Trump.
Which one's worse?
At this point, it's hard for me to tell. I mean, I can't say it enough. If you have a suggestion for a peep that could defeat Batman, or a predicament that Batman would just not be suited for,
Yeah, which would be
please send it.
because he's a Mary Sue.
And I mean, if you have other ideas for peeps or predicts, send us those too.
Yeah,
But somebody, please send me somebody to beat Batman.
never gonna happen.
I don't have like a prize in mind, but I will do something for you. If you
Make your request, submit your idea, and
honestly,
we'll see what
at this
we can
point,
do.
I'm over talking about Batman.
Team Batman, everyone.
Ugh.